Harrison Haynes is here to share his story with us. Harrison is a junior at James Madison University, focusing on mental health counseling with a minor in global religion and cultures, and he plans to pursue a master's degree in career and clinical social work. Thank you for that. Harrison is actively involved in the Wired Human Youth Coalition, advocating and empowering youth in online safety and mental health. His life experiences have shaped his philosophy of digital intentionalism, which he explores in his upcoming book, The Moments Between Moments. In his free time, which I'm not sure there's much of it, he leads a life group guiding peers to find peace through intentional spiritual life. Harrison, we are so blessed to have you here today. Thank you for telling your story.
Hi, everyone. I am not Governor Youngkin and unbelievably short, so hopefully you can see me over the podium. And unlike him, I actually need notes, so yes, I am very blessed to be here. I am super excited, unbelievably nervous. I've never spoken in front of, what is there, like 300 of you? So if I could see some smiling faces, maybe a wave. Hey everyone, I'm a big hugger, so if you guys want hugs at the end, I'm a big hugger, big in-person hugger. Yeah, that video was unbelievable. Way too real for so many of us. We've all had some sort of experience that have brought us here. So I just want to commend all of you, every single soul in this room, for taking a step towards a better future for all of us, one where childhood isn't for sale. If I were to ask you, what is the most important thing in your life? What would you say? On your tables, there's a piece of paper, little stickies. I encourage you just to take a moment and just write a few down. Rank them 1 to 5. Some common topics are faith, career, your hobbies, your family, education. Most of us right now are answering with some iteration of my loved ones, because at our core, we all desire to love and to be loved. This is an undeniable human truth. We as a species have kinship in our bones. Community is in our DNA. Whether you believe humans were created intentionally by the hand of God or formed through some cosmic happenstance, we have only persisted and succeeded as a species through the presence of one another. We all long to do life alongside each other as we experience the deep joys and even harsher pains of this life on this little blue marble. So with that said, I encourage you to consider, look at that list and imagine what are the most important things in your life. What truly matters most. But first, I believe that life can only be fully appreciated when we understand how short it actually is, which is why I'm grateful that the Youngkin administration is helping us realize how important childhood actually is. We often avoid things that make us afraid, things that make us scared, like for me right now, speaking in front of all of you. Unbelievably nervous. We bury our heads in the sand when we're afraid, but I think we need to confront this fear face to face. In order to fully open up the gift of our lives, we need to realize how short our lives truly are. I know it's hard, but I need you to picture it for just a moment. Your journey here is coming to a close. What will you want to be there next to you in your final days? Resumes? Will you want to hold tight to your diploma? Will you want to hold close your career? Will you reflect on your bank account and all of your financial achievements? Will you want to be comforted by a Netflix binge? Game of Thrones, anyone? Any hands? Yeah, oh yeah, I see you. Or maybe you'll want to be distracted by internet pornography or the endless scroll of TikTok. Will you want your phone there? What will you want there next to you in your final moments? Because friends, our lives are all going to come to a close one day. All of our gravestones, our coffins, and our urns will one day bear our names. We will only live through the memory of our loved ones, and as is as true for all humans who have ever walked this planet, their loved ones will pass along with their memory. And no one will remember us. And after we're gone, the world will belong to others, new souls who wrestle with the same aching struggles that once weighed on us. They will find some joy as they deal with menial problems, as they fan the flame of the flickering hope that things might just get better. And at this rate, all while being endlessly digitally distracted into oblivion by things that genuinely do not matter. Friends, what matters most? Those things that you chose to be next to you in your final moments were people, weren't they? What were their names? If that's true and they are people, I encourage you, I implore you, I demand that you chase them, pursue them, spoil your children with your love, pursue your partner, and continue to seek out community. Try to waste every free moment you have and waste it on all of them. Spend every day, significant or ordinary, in all of the moments between moments with the people you love. The thing that you said on that paper in front of you was the most important thing in your life. Unfortunately, in this cultural moment, all of us claim that our loved ones are the most important things to us. But does our time truly reflect this? Most of our time is spent on a screen as we wake up to our phones buzzing in the morning, as we hop in our cars and drown out the quiet with music or our favorite podcast. We rush to work, and there most of us spend time behind another screen. We answer endless emails, hop on, Zoom, we've got Google Meets, we've got Microsoft. Why are there so many? Can we just pick one? Like, really? Guys, seriously, Google Meet is superior. It's in your calendar. Like, it just works. I don't understand. I'm glad that struck a chord. We spend our hours there at work. And after another exhausting day behind a screen, we collapse on the couch to unwind to yet another screen with our good friends, Hulu, Netflix, and TikTok, leaving very little emotional energy for the people around us. Don't believe it's as bad as I say? Still nervous. I'm going to throw some numbers at you. So I'll try to go slow, because I'm not good at math, and I'm definitely not good at numbers. A recent study found that American adults average 4.5 hours a day on their phones. That's 28% of your waking hours, ideally. The Bureau of Labor Statistics found that the average American works 8.1 hours a day, at 51% of your waking hours. And another study found that American adults consume 2.5 hours of TV a day. That's 15% of your waking hours. Assuming that some of that time overlaps, I'm sure some of us are watching Netflix while endlessly scrolling on TikTok, because that's productive. That leaves us about 8% of our lives, assuming that they overlap, for the things that we said matter most. The average American touches their phone 2,617 times every single day of the year. That's unbelievable. 20% of us in the US, we fall asleep with our phones in our hands, 88% within arm's reach. And 70% of us, we touch our phones within 3 minutes of waking. And that's not to hit the alarm, that's to scroll. And if this is you, please answer yourself and me honestly. Are you happy? Are you? I don't mean that to judge you, because honestly, I'm not either. I'm not. And how do you think this cultural moment is affecting our youth? We're all here to reclaim childhood. So let's go through some more concerning statistics. Well, I guess we have to get to my story first, don't we? I've had a really turbulent relationship with technology throughout my life. As a kid, I spent nearly all of my time behind a closed door on a screen. I was an indoor kid, as we call it now. Glued to a screen, I watched thousands of hours of YouTube and TV. I played tens of thousands of hours of video games. And by the time I turned 12, I started consuming pornography by a recommendation of a friend that I met online. I hated my boring life, but I didn't realize that there was a better one on offer. This was the life that my culture had fostered. Long story short, depression took hold and my porn consumption peaked into a compulsive addiction. I wanted to curb my anxiety. I endlessly debated about taking my underwhelming life. And the worst part was that my family life was great. My parents were married, in love, shared the same bed. They worked jobs, both busy, and they kind of liked their jobs too. I mean, I had everything that we all say that we needed. And life was still this way. There was so much below the surface, things that nobody knew. That friend that I had mentioned before, I was his lifeline at 12. I met him through Xbox Live. He was a 19-year-old pedophile from New Jersey who nurtured a seemingly innocent relationship with me for 6 months, a seemingly innocent friendship, before he ever tried anything suspicious. He was a great listener. That void of friendship and mentorship, that older brother figure that nobody filled, that nobody saw, that nobody cared about, that nobody made time for, it was filled by an internet stranger. He was my only real friend. Later on in our friendship, he convinced me that he was a depressed, suicidal teen just like me who needed support. So I gave him my cell phone number. He disguised his new sexualized grooming behavior as mental illness. I didn't give in to his sexual request, but I was exposed to self-harm, which I began experimenting with, as well as suicide, which I nearly attempted. But luckily, after a series of events, our friendship did not continue, and I had a dream that saved my life. It got me back on track. But sadly, this troubling reality is becoming more and more common. Everyone says it's not going to happen to me. I just spoke to 2 individuals already. They haven't even heard my story, and they've already told me that this is happening to their families, to their children, in their communities. A 2022 study found that nearly half, 47% of US adolescents reported feeling uncomfortable being approached online by someone attempting to befriend and manipulate them. Nearly half of US adolescents have experienced this. And like other teens, all my waking hours at school were on a screen, and every hour at home was a nightmare, usually also on a screen. I was addicted to screens, reliant to technology, and none of the other teenage stuff really helps either. Growing into your new teenage body, the cystic acne that everyone says, one day it's gonna go away, and then it just really doesn't, And then they say, don't worry, you'll get taller. Guys, stop lying to your children. I was 5'6" at 13, I'm 5'6" at 21. Mikey can confirm it doesn't get better. Guys, I didn't know how to change it, and I didn't know there was a better life on offer. This is the cultural normal that we are reaping and sowing for the next generation. And how is this new cultural normal really working out for us? Last year, 3/4 of teens reported feeling regularly lonely. Nearly half of teens reported feeling sad or hopeless. Between 2000 and 2020, suicide rates and mental health have doubled. 22% of high school students reported seriously considering suicide at least once in the past year. And nearly every year since 2018, suicide has accounted for 17% of adolescent deaths. That's just as many deaths as teen cancer, teen heart disease, teen diabetes complications, and teen-on-teen firearm homicide combined. Eating disorders, anxiety, online grooming, bullying, suicide, depression, anxiety, self-harm. Where is it all coming from? Where did this huge surge of mental illness come from? What has changed since 2000? A lot has changed since 2000. 2007 was the year the iPhone was released. A fifth of Americans had an iPhone in 2008. And 2008 didn't really help either, I'm sure. But now American teens' lives, just like the rest of us, are being mediated through a screen. Their education through computers, their social connection through social media, their free time stolen by addictive platforms designed to be addictive, and their sexuality mediated through the rising rates of sexting and through their expression through pornography. It doesn't help that 77% of teens last year said that when nothing is occupying their time, the first thing they do is pull out their phone. Attention is falling. When I was born in 2003, yes, 2003, the average human attention span was 12 seconds. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 seconds. Impressive. The average human attention span was 12 seconds. But by the time that I turned 12, in like 2015, it was 8 seconds. And for Generation Alpha, it's even lower, 7 seconds. The average goldfish, I know everybody likes when we start a sentence that way. The average goldfish across the board has scored 9 seconds. So every single person in this room, if you have a phone, can I see some hands? Who's got a phone? I'm looking for, she doesn't. I love that. We've lost to goldfish. They are this big. It's no surprise that young people feel this way, that all of us feel this way, scattered, chronically disconnected, distracted, overwhelmed, perpetually rushed, and constantly on the move without a time to pause and rest. But friends, we hold the power to reverse these effects with youth and influence a world that we may never see. We, whether parents, who's a parent here? Legislators, counselors, pastors, there you are, and everyday people, we carry a significant role in shaping our own lives and then out of it, the lives of our communities, our families, and our country for the next generations. Because remember, we, the people, are in charge. Our lives are in our hands. We are in the driver's seat. We have the capability to influence our families, to influence our communities, and create societal change. In Virginia's innovative policies, Youngkin, Executive Order 33, have been leaps and bounds towards this change. Absolutely incredible. It's a crucial step in reconnecting to our priorities for our youth, especially in the classroom. But it's not just in the classroom. It's also alongside our daily mundane decisions to pursue and prioritize what every single one of you had put on that piece of paper. What you said in your life truly matters most. But before I close out, I want us to reflect on the automated machines that we use every single day. The cars that some of us drove to get here, the ovens that we cooked our Friendsgiving turkey in. That went horribly wrong last night, by the way. I mean, straight out of a sitcom, like, don't trust a freshman in college to cook a turkey. Somebody needs his mama. Our washing machines, absolutely incredible. I mean, think about how much free time we gain back just from our washing machine alone, right? Our blenders, I love a good smoothie. Fridges are awesome. Like, you'd have to dig a tunnel like under your house to keep your food cold. I don't know. That's beyond me. But my personal favorite in college, the microwave. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And I believe that smartphones were invented and aimed at the same alleviation. However, I don't believe that our time reflects their intended purpose. Are we really freeing up our time for what matters most? Or are we just wasting it on something else? I considered this when I went away to university, a time when my bitterness towards smartphones was at its all-time high. My social media addiction and pornography addiction were out the door, but I needed that extra 1-2 punch to kind of get them out the door. I still needed some additional support. So I made a crazy decision. I went dumb. What does that even mean? Yes, thank you. I bought the light phone, a dumb phone designed to be used as little as humanly possible. It had texting, calling, notes, and maps that I never trusted. Unbelievable. No internet, no social media, no camera, no email, and no distractions. For the first time in my entire life, I started to feel human. I wondered if people had always felt this way. The first few weeks were really strange. As the iPhone was left at home in my bedroom, I constantly would pull my light phone out in moments between moments, at the coffee shop, waiting in line, at our dining hall, waiting in line. I mean, just there's so much waiting. But slowly I began to feel more alive. I gained hours on hours of my life back. And remember that average of 4.5 hours a day that we spend on our smartphones. In those moments between moments, I decided to listen, to take in everything around me. I decided to take my life back. I gained a whole new level of intimacy with God. I gained a whole new level of intimacy with my own thoughts. And I realized that these moments of silence, these moments between moments, were portals to prayer. And they were portals to personal introspection. Before I realized that I wasn't actually living, in fact, I was just existing. And earlier this year, I broke that dumb phone, dropped it right on the concrete. They weren't made super well, but I am grateful that it has taught me some valuable lessons. I have about 9 lessons that I've written down, 9 digital boundaries. My bedroom, 24/7, is a phone-free zone. I don't sleep with it. I don't wake to it. Unless I'm on a call, it's not in there. Number 2, I parent my phone. I wake it up in the morning, I put it to bed at night, and all that time before and after, I have an hour to think. I have an hour to be. I have an hour to feel alive. Social media is not allowed to live on my phone. Social media in my life is a recipe for disaster. I limit my workday to specific hours, and I encourage all of you to also do that. In an act of resistance to the 24-hour workday where the lines between work and home have been blurred, thank you, COVID, I don't have email on my phone. My notifications are off. I have to go app by app and see what I need to see. I also keep my phone in black and white as a reminder, mostly because it looks cool, and people ask about it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But also because it's a reminder that I'm staring at a screen, whether I'm on my computer or my cell phone. I've also taken up something that I call monotasking. You know, not multitasking. We humans think we're a lot better at multitasking than we actually are. While we multitask, we lose the opportunity to live in the moment and to enjoy the mundane. As we look back on the things in our lives that we didn't enjoy, our chores, our commutes, the classes that, God, we hate. Social research is terrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. But then you look back at that hour and a half that you spent zoning out, glazed over, going through your email box. I mean, the average American checks their email box at work. It was like 60 times an hour. I was like, wow. And it just slips right through your fingers, all of that time. I also realized that I regularly need a digital detox. This is a practice that I call Sabbath. Every Friday night at sundown, my phone, my computer, they go away. 24 hours, straight through, no exceptions. I come alive to the people around me. I make sure to get grounded on my priorities, to the people in my life, my roommates that I love, my partner who I love, and focus on what truly matters most. Friends, in order to lead youth out of this mess, we ought to lead by example. Challenging the false promises of big tech. I do believe that tech is amazing. I don't want to harp on it too much. It's incredible. I can call my mom at college. I can check in on my little brother as he's applying to university. My partner and I have done 3 years as of, what's today, the 20th? What's today? Oh, as today, 3 years today. 3 years today. Long distance. I can connect to friends that I met all over the world on various mission trips in Oman and Zanzibar and Colombia. I can talk to I have an Afghani family that I serve, and they don't speak English. They've been here for 4 weeks. And I can speak to them and do our English lessons through Google Translate. It's incredible. Big tech's amazing, but I think that we've become numb to it. I think we're chronically ungrateful. They are amazing, but at what cost? What have we lost through the innovation? What have we lost? Now that we're coming to a close, I invite you to reflect. Look at that paper and reflect on the richest, happiest moment of your life so far. Actually do it. Close your eyes. Do whatever you got to do. I'm seeing a lot of eyes still. And reflect on the richest, happiest, most freeing moment of your life so far. Relive it. Where were you? Who were you with? How did you feel? That joy that you're reliving right now, I imagine all of us want to lead our children, our students, our constituents into the next generation, into that joy. We will have to lead first by example out of what we know, what we have, and what we've been given. I don't personally believe that we can do that if we only allocate 8% of our lives to the things that we said matter most. I know all of you want the best for these people. So if you want the best for the children in our state, for our country, and for our world, then you should lead by example. You should create regular work boundaries. You should listen to your own advice. If you want your kids to get outside more, get more exercise, practice community, I think you ought to do those things first. Listen to your own advice. And when your kid's around, put the phone away. If it was that important, if that email was that important, they'd call you. Let's be real. Listen to your own advice. Parents, come alive. Because I truly believe that if we create a culture of healthy work boundaries, existing in moments of silence, and keeping our phones and lines with their intended purposes, then we have a much better chance of leading youth out of this mess. Friends, leaders, pastors, counselors, legislators, educators, we owe it to them. They're looking to us to create change. Thank you.